I wasn't going to change, and I don't. In many ways, my position on abortion, hurt me a lot. But I wasn't going to change what I believe, who I am, and what I was going to support in order to win. And I understand, as I said earlier, I don't, and I've never characterized progressives, even at things that I think I completely disagree with. I think there's a reason that people believe these things and want to instill certain policies. I don't agree with, but I've never, personally attacked people. Again, I think we need to discuss these things. So I would not have, in a sense, I'd say, and I hate to say I didn't learn anything, but I went through all this. I already thought through all these things, and I wasn't going to change. And I would not have changed anything that I did, any position that I took. I am who I am. It was going to represent my constituents in that way. And so it's not something that I'm going to, again, I wasn't going to change just to stay in office. And, through the years, I changed my position on some things. Immigration reform, I opposed it early on. After what I saw and experienced and saw how Congress works and nothing was getting done and what was going on, with any lack of progress whatsoever and anything changing in this country, I came to support comprehensive immigration reform. So over my career, I did change my position on some issues in terms of an ultimate goal. And one of the things that I did in Congress that I was most enjoyable, at least for a while, was when I sat down, quietly, without any publicity whatsoever, a group of Democrats and Republicans sat down to try to work out something. When President Trump said he was going to get rid of DACA for the those who came to this country illegally as children, who were protected under executive order under President Obama, that he was going to get rid of that. A group of us said, let's come up with a compromise. And we sat down and we were very serious about talking through an issue that you almost never see Democrats and Republicans talking about, seriously considering and trying to compromise and come to solutions on. And we did that. And we came up with something, but we couldn't bring it to the House floor because the rules prevented it, and no speaker was going to allow a bipartisan group to come up with a solution to bring a bill to the floor. That wasn't what the speaker wanted, because at that time it was Speaker Ryan. Even though he was for comprehensive immigration reform, he knew it would hurt him with his party. So there are things that I changed my views on during my time in Congress. And again, this was through experience and through reason that I came to these. And I think we still need to have representatives. We need to have a society where people are talking to each other and learning from each other. And that's truly the way that we move forward as a country. That's how we have better policy for the country. We also need to regain the sense of sacrifice and the need for sacrifice. I think that is a big problem that we have completely lost, is no one considers that sacrifice is necessary. And so all those things. So I will stop. I'll get off my soapbox here. And hopefully this was helpful to everyone here. I always say I'm an engineer. So as I listen to Margarita, I listen to you talking about in sort of putting what I said into much more in a much more concise and direct way. I appreciate that, but I still have an engineer's vocabulary. And so hopefully hopefully everyone got what I was saying, and hopefully it was helpful understanding education. And look, I was this way even when I was still in politics. Is most politicians won't ever admit they don't know anything, and I admit that I don't know things, and I struggle with things, and I work through things, and I'm willing to work through these things in public, talking to you, and hopefully that's helpful to hopefully that's helpful to all of you.
I'm extremely grateful for your time and for sharing your personal experiences and your insights. And what you said did come across to me very clearly. You said many times we need to think for ourselves. We need to understand and respect tradition. We need to acknowledge that we have a creator, God. We need to listen to and work with people who are different than us. We need to find compromises where we don't give up on our principles, yet find a working solution to avoid getting entrenched in a us versus them sectarian partisanship, which you said, I think very clearly, ultimately leads to chaos, which is what you fear is happening. And I've heard you say that sacrifice is important and that we grow from our struggles and from our losses. And I know that as a person who has served our country in the United States House of Representatives, you have sacrificed a lot and you have learned from your mistakes. You've even changed your position on a few things. I think politicians don't like to admit they're wrong, and they don't like to admit that they've ever changed their minds on something. And I thank you for taking the time tonight to just share honestly your reflections on your years of service and your views about why you served the nation as you did. And now in your career post being a member of Congress, I hope that there'll be a lot more occasions for people to hear from you. And I'm sure you will continue to grow, and that audiences will absolutely grow from listening to you.